Welcome to Subramani. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi spoke about something which nobody else has spoken about. It's saying choosing your problem. Now, when he says choosing your problem, it sounds a little odd because we think that problems come to us and we handle it, right? So, now suppose you have a slight headache, and on that day, you've been thinking about your headache and not going about doing your job properly, but in the end of the day you break your leg, right? And you need to be admitted to hospital. Maybe it's a simple fracture, but you need to be admitted to hospital. Do you realize you've completely forgotten your headache because your leg ache has now become bigger than your headache? So similarly, why am I talking about this in an investment forum is simply because I see people very young, maybe under 30, don't have too much of invested money, but the amount of questions that they ask and the way they break their head, should I do SIP in the Nifty or on the Sensex? It doesn't really matter. You're choosing an index fund. The correlation between them is almost perfect, so it doesn't really matter. No, but I do think this has got 50 stocks, that has got 30 stocks. Okay, chief, you can do both, right? If you're so unsure of yourself, you could do both. No, but isn't it optimum to have lesser number of funds? I think the number of questions that people ask which are completely irrelevant to their investing journey shocks me. What asset allocation you have, what you do, how much return you get, nothing matters till you have a reasonable size portfolio. Till then, what really matters is what percentage of your income are you able to save? Are you able to save 30%, 40%, 90% of your income? That is the question that you have to ask. Where it gets invested does not really matter. Of course, if you are supporting a family, then you have to have adequate reserves in case of contingency, in case something happens. All that is true. But assuming you're a kid of a rich parent, doesn't really matter where you invest, because in the worst case scenario, and you have to have liquidity, you have parents to whom you can turn for liquidity, right? So it's not so much of a liquidity problem or anything. Just go ahead and invest. Don't think so much about where to invest. Should I put in multi-asset? Should I put in equity? Should I do a 30-year SIP or a 20-year SIP? Boss, you can worry about it after you reach 20 years, right? What is the hurry? Choosing the wrong problem and trying to solve it is a very, very important thing that you have to be careful about. It's very easy. It's not just in the case of investing. Even I think there are examples saying that if you are going to set up a fishing business, don't spend too much time on which yacht to buy, which cooling glass to buy, and which sunshade to buy to sit in the deck. Right, that's not as important as buying good cable and hooks and baits and carrying them along while going fishing. That's far more important. Similarly, in business, finding the client is far more important than making a great looking visiting card or getting extra phones or creating an office which is fantastic to look at. Those things don't matter. So people set up time, effort and money on completely wrong things, right? So that's why I was reminded of Gandhiji's statement of choosing your problem. Choose your problem. Choose the right problem to solve. This reminds me of that, I don't remember the name of the analyst who predicted Trump's coming to power perfectly. Some Jain or somebody, I don't remember. Anyway, he was right. He predicted this team predicted the Trump return better than the big media companies. And then then the company did what is the most fair thing to do. They went short on the market, and they were right for the first few hours. They were in a very profitable deal. I think 300 million or something they were in profits. And suddenly the market went the reverse way. Market just went up, and so they lost money. So what happens is sometimes you carry too much of your own personal agenda into it. You think, oh, Trump is bad, the market will fall, right? So you have all the perfect gears. You have all the perfect tools to know what is going to happen. You are right about it, but you have no clue that the market would take the data assimilate it and say, oh, Trump is not so bad after all. Now take the Indian scenario for 2024 elections. We are all assuming that BJP is going to get 400 seats or maybe 370 plus seats and 410 for NDA, whatever. This is what we think. We are all geared towards that. Now suppose it does not happen. I am not even saying it won't happen, but suppose it does not happen. Suppose Rahul Gandhi comes to power by whatever hook or crook or something, and he comes to power. Do you think it's a time that you should bet against the market? I'm sure it is, but how long? If the market falls 5%, 10%, 20%, 25%, when will you turn a buyer? Right? That's important. To know how the market will react is almost impossible. You have predicted something, you've got it right, which means you had good tools, you knew what to do. But how to use it in the market is a skill which not all of us have. And you could be completely wrong. Yes, perfectly possible that Rahul Gandhi comes to power. Let's say 75,000 is where the Sensex is today. Let's say the market falls from 75,000 to 60,000. But at 60,000, the market will start rationalizing and say, look, Congress knows how to run the country, blah, blah, blah. And all those narratives which today are not there will appear. Then they will say, oh, Rahul is such a great prime minister. I mean, all those things will happen and the market will recover and maybe reach 70,000 on the Sensex. So the actual fall may just be 5,000 points. But the problem is it will go from 75 to 60 and come back to 70. The question is, did you participate in that 75 to 60, or did you panic at 72, or did you panic at 60 you sold double short or whatever? All those things will have an impact on your portfolio. So look at the problem, solve the right problem. Once you have the tools, act. Don't just keep on sharpening the tool. That tool has to be used too, right? So people spend too much time on setting up a website, on setting up call centers and setting up fancy looking offices without a clue as to who is the client who is going to walk into your office to give you business. If you don't know that, you have been solving the wrong problem. Thank you.